Boy J. Pillar Bay, Professor Pillar Bay, right? We're going to read The Five Negro Presidents, USA by J.A. Rogers, right? He says, the five Negro presidents, according to what white people said they were. On the cover, President Harding and his paternal granduncle, Oliver Harding, Abbott Monthly, September 1932. And so, go right here. He says, Alexander Hamilton, drawn from Life by Peale, New York Public Library collection. Hamilton was darker in color than the picture shows. Note his woolish hair. Now, go over here. He says, Alexander Hamilton, another noted American whose ancestry has long been in dispute, is Alexander Hamilton. Native Virgin Islanders have insisted that he was colored. White American authors deny it. So there's another picture of him. Alexander Hamilton, Caucasianized, New York Public Library collection. So you got two different pictures of Alexander Hamilton, right? He says, all right, he says, among Virgin Islanders who say he was is Hubert Harrison, George Challenger, and Reverend Charles D. Martin. The latter says that his mother, Rachel Fawcett, was a mixed blood, that the white women, as in other West Indian colonies, were very rare, Nevis being especially so, that the first mothers of the colony were Negro slave women, with a mulatto offspring of their white masters, as in the United States, the white master had children with the mulatto women, and that their offspring came to be listed as white. That is, they were known as white by law, as in certain southern states of America. John Fawcett, grandfather of Rachel, was listed in an early census as having 4 black females. The surest proof that Hamilton was of Negro ancestry, says Reverend Martin, is that Hamilton's brother James, same mother, same father, also migrated to the United States, where he was treated as a Negro because of his dark color and hair. James, who was a merchant, once refused a seat in a Broadway coach because of his right here because of his dark complexion, and is suing the company for heavy damages, quotes Reverend Martin from a letter of the Times. In this article, Alexander Hamilton had Negro blood. He says the proof of this is not on the general belief that West Indians are of mixed blood, but in the statement of eyewitnesses who knew the boy before fame crowned the man. Reverend Martin adds that Hamilton's father was invited to the United States, but not his mother, because her presence would have ruined his prospects. She loved her son Alexander too much. The father, the failure, would have been accepted, but the mother, right here, with the noble mind and the dark skin, would create as much trouble as a colored delegate at a white convention. Her features were too pronounced. She was too typically Negro. Beth T. Phila, August 1916, right? We continue. The spokesman, January 1925, insists that he was of Negro extraction, has never been successfully disputed. The statesman had Negro blood. His mother being a Negro woman. Maurice David, professor of sociology at Yale, says, among notable Americans, the story persists that Hamilton, who was born on the island of Nevis, was of Negro descent. Complete proof or disproof of this allegation is difficult since he was born out of wedlock. If Hamilton was not a Negro, he certainly brought 2 Negro sons into the world. One married a very light-colored white female and lived as white. Negroes in American Society, page 391, 1949. Strongest in support of Hamilton as white was Gertrude Atherton, leading novelist. She had written 2 novels glorifying him, The Hero and The Conqueror, both of which she claimed were his true and romantic story. Because of the assistant claim that he was a Negro, she decided to go to Nevis to prove that his parents were unmixed white. She said in the North American Review, volume 175, page 227 through 242, 1902, I admire Booker T. Washington and wish the colored race all the success that it deserves, but inherited instincts are strongest in us, and both enthusiasm and imagination will shrivel, were I obliged to accept as a fact that Hamilton had Negro blood in him, which sounds crazy, right? Because white people, you have black blood in you, okay? All white people have Negro, so-called Negro blood in them. But let me continue reading, because that sounds crazy what she's saying. Y'all was crazy, okay? If Hamilton had colored blood, which he did, and white people have colored blood too, right? So-called, he would have several cold black descendants before this, such being the freakish law of nature. She thinks the belief that Hamilton was a Negro was because he was a West Indian in the United States, such as regarded as Negroes. Also, that might have been another Alexander Hamilton of slave birth on the island. Gertrude Atherton herself was said to be of Negro ancestry, right? It goes on to say, Mitchell Borders in his book on Hamilton says the statement that he had Negro blood was without foundation. Hamilton's papers were burnt after his death. It is held that this was done in order to hide his alleged Negro strain. The real truth of Hamilton's ancestry, I think, can be found in the earliest and least known portrait of him. In this, he is seen with the kind of woolish hair common among light Negroes in the West Indies. There is also a certain fullness about the mouth that is somewhat Negroid. The portrait is by Peel. When taunted about his birth, Hamilton replied, "My blood is as good as those who plumb themselves on their ancestry." This is interpreted by some writers as a reference to his alleged Negro strain, right? Incidentally, another personage who was at first more important than Hamilton and even Washington, and who was said to be of Negro ancestry, was Colonel George William Fairfax, cousin of the great Lord Fairfax. Robert Hughes says of him, Fairfax was popularly said to be a Negro. He was born in the Bahamas, and his mother was popularly said to have been a dusky beauty. Washington's brother, Lawrence, married Fairfax's sister. Life of George Washington, Volume 1, page 183, Volume 2, page 21, 1926. So that's pretty interesting, right? Okay, so let's go back. So this is two portraits of Alexander Hamilton, drawn by Peel, New York Public Library collection. Hamilton was darker in color than the picture shows. Note his woolish hair. And then over here we got another picture of Hamilton, right? Okay, so another noted American whose ancestry long has been disputed is Alexander Hamilton. Native Virginia Islanders have insisted that he was colored. White American authors deny it. We're doing some of the stuff today with Beethoven. They keep acting like Beethoven's a white man. But as you can see, there's another picture. Alexander Hamilton, Caucasianized, New York Public Library collection. So Alexander Hamilton. Who's telling the truth? The Five Negro Presidents, USA, by J.A. Rogers. That's your boy Pella. Keep reaching and teaching. Ashe. Talk to y'all later.